Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how making is changing the world and how you can too. First of all, I want to say hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here as one of the keynote speakers and excited to be in Norway all the way from Canada. And I also wanted to show this sparkly rainbow unicorn just to get your attention in case you're in the midst of a digital distraction. So today in the world, there exists a lot of different problems. At Singularity University at NASA, we grouped them into these 8 areas: global health, water, energy, environment, food, education, security, and poverty. How are we going to solve these pressing issues? Well, unfortunately, over 80% of people in the world are dissatisfied with their work, and 1 in 4 people are currently experiencing mental health issues. With these sorts of things going on, it's pretty difficult to do awesome work that changes the world. How can we get more real innovations like the Google self-driving car? Well, I'd like to argue that we need to increase human potential to do that. And how can we do that? Well, my philosophy is that we can do that through making. Making helps you feel like you have more power over the world. It makes you feel more creative, and importantly, it helps you become more social. And that's a great way to come up with new ideas and solutions. Childhood is one of the most formative stages in life, so it's a great time to introduce making. If you can convince a child that they're a leader, they'll carry that with them for the rest of their lives, whereas it's much more difficult to convince adults that they're a leader if they spent their whole lives thinking they're not. So today I'm going to talk about both MakerKids and Little Bits, and I'm going to start with MakerKids. I'd like to show you an intro video. Let's see how we do here on this computer. That shows a little bit about our space and MakerKids. Could you help me with this? Thanks. Okay.
MakerKids a few years ago, about a year and a half ago, we got this permanent location and we renovated a studio workshop space to teach all these skills to kids so they could learn about electronics, about sewing, woodworking, robotics, even cooking stuff, so that they can be creators instead of just consumers of technology.
We have an entire basement full of tools, all other kinds of appliances, and then we get ideas and then we make this stuff. It's awesome.
So we run after-school classes, we run weekend workshops, we do this summer camp. There's several other summer camps we do too. The past couple of days, they've been at MakerKids here using our tools and materials to actually build the physical parts of their toys and games. There's a lot of technology in our lives now, and we can either be ruled by it and just consume what comes our way, or we can actually be the creators of it.
So these are a few of the different topics that we teach to kids: 3D printing, electronics, woodworking, Arduino, Minecraft, robotics, inventions, toy hacking, where they get to take apart toys and put them back together, rocket launching, where they can launch rockets, jewelry making, sewing, candy and food making, chariot building, where they can make chariots that they can ride in, programming, crafts, and also a robot battle, where they attach balloons and pins to robots and then battle them against each other to try and pop each other's balloons. And we do this through our main offerings, which include summer camps, like a toy and game inventor camp, after-school programs, Kids Open Make, which is 3 hours on a Saturday. They can come in and make whatever they want with the help of our materials, tools, and instructors. Minecraft drop-in, we use Minecraft as a gateway to get them interested in other things like 3D printing, so they can 3D print objects they've created in Minecraft. Themed workshops, birthday parties, educator training, curriculum development for clients like Intel and 3D Systems, as well as external events. So if there's one thing you can remember us by, it's this: we give 3-year-olds drills. But don't worry, we have the safety training and the insurance to back that up. And this photo really illustrates how we see kids in the midst of adults. They get to be the leader of their own development and their own projects, where the parents and the instructors are in the background, answering any questions and making sure that they're safe. So this is a bit about our team. I'm in charge of the business side, and my business partner, Andy, is in charge of the learning. We also have a number of other colleagues, including Erica, who's here today. She's going to be leading a workshop tomorrow on Little Bits. And on our board of advisors, we have the CEOs of Arduino and Maker Media, and we've served thousands of kids thus far. We've also made curriculum for a number of different partners, such as Intel, 3D Systems, and Mozilla. This is a look at our hands-on inventors lab. We have a whole possibility wall, we call it here, with all sorts of tools and materials that kids can freely use with the help of our instructors. And then we recently opened a retail-level digital design lab, where we have 7 3D printers, a laser cutter, and kids can also use Minecraft, do programming, design, and all sorts of other digital elements. And this is a little bit about our learning philosophy in brief. This is my only slide with lots of words on it. First, we have a dedicated space where they can feel like they're the creators of the space. They get to use real tools freely. We also value process over product, emphasizing that it's okay for them to fail, and they can learn by doing through experiential learning. And we also choose to celebrate the fact that they're making, not just taking home some shiny object that they've made. A few other things, we're interest-driven, so with every activity they get to choose some variation that most interests them. We also let kids teach other kids, so we have kids teaching some of our classes, such as Minecraft, and kids teach us as well. So we have some of our teenage instructors, for example, speak on panels, do sales pitches for us, all sorts of things. And we have exhibition as an element of every class where the kids get to show their parents what they've made. And we also connect to the local Toronto community, the maker community, and the global maker community through events like this. And I think overall, our real strength is coming up with ways to teach things like 3D printing, for example, that get kids excited about it. So getting them to make their own creatures, for example. This is an example of one of the results that we've had. So this is a 10-year-old kid named Leaf. He created a whack-a-robot machine, which is like whack-a-mole, where you whack down the moles, but it's laser-cut robots, and he's here on national television. And then this is a 10-year-old named Alex, who is very enterprising. He now has his own speaker building and fixing business, so he learned to make speakers, and he makes speakers and sells them to local kids and families, and also repairs speakers around his neighborhood. Now I'm going to talk a bit about how we partner with other companies, using Little Bits as an example. A few months ago, we started talking to Little Bits. And they're an amazing company. As is typical in one of our partnerships, they ended up shipping us some of their products so we could test it out. And then in return, we do some promotional work for them. And then the next step with a lot of our partnerships is curriculum development. So for example, with Intel, they shipped us some of their Galileos. We played around with them, and then we ended up building a module that shows teachers how to teach Galileo to kids. And I know a lot of you said that you're familiar with Little Bits, but there's an awesome video that they just released that shows all the possibilities for how you can use it that I wanted to show you. Arduino module. So pretty awesome. You probably saw the Arduino module there, which they recently released. So a few weeks ago, this happened. They shipped us their Pro library, their biggest kit, which includes 4 of every single bit that they've made. We've actually brought that with us today. We unleashed it in our space and let kids, adults, and educators use it. This is an example of a kid using the tackle box. This is the bottom level of it. So as I mentioned, we brought that with us today. What's really exciting about Little Bits to me is that, as an example, there's a kid in our inventions class that wanted to create an automatic fish feeder. Now, normally, this would take probably about 3 weeks for him to find the right components, solder it up, and that type of thing. But with Little Bits, you're able to do that type of thing in about 3 hours. And the other really exciting thing is that it's very self-directed. So there's not that much need for instruction. It's just the process of kids playing with it, tinkering around, and seeing what works for them. So I have a video of that. I think video is one of the best ways to demonstrate the capabilities of Little Bits in the absence of using it, which you'll be able to do tomorrow. So this is a bit shoddy video, but bear with it because it shows how kids go about tinkering with Little Bits. So this is an example in our space of what we saw.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, you can see it going along, eh? The little red light.
Let's try if I take up that one.
Okay, yeah, just take out the whole part.
Just put it there.
That's clever. That's what you do in
No, so.
when you're writing programming.
The
You
circuit-
isolate different parts.
But if this control this,
Okay.
it would not control the electricity.
You're very right. So that means we know that the electricity gets up at least to this red dot here, right? So it must be past that red dot that there's
Yes.
a problem.
Let's try like this.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
No.
10, 11, 12.
So we also had the opportunity to use it with our instructors and some adults. These are some of our teenage instructors, and I didn't stage this photo. They are literally this excited to play around with it. And that was another really neat finding that I had when watching people using it in the space. I heard so many adults saying, wow, this is so amazing. I never knew I could do this. I never knew this was possible. So it was really neat to see the potential that it unlocked in them and the potential that it unlocked in what they were able to create. So I made a project too. Sometimes on the weekends I like to moonlight as a DJ. DJ Turliuk is my handle. And I created a project here that mimicked my DJ controller. So you can plug in 2 iPhones or sound devices here, and then you can mix them together with the volume controls and modify the sound a little bit if you want, and then control the master volume and then outputs to a speaker. So it's pretty neat that you're able to make projects like that. Robotic cars is another really popular project at MakerKids. It typically takes a couple hours to make a robotic car. We were able to make this robotic car within minutes. And there's another couple audio projects that we made that were super cool. So this is a band, a Little Bits band, that was created by 2 of our teenage instructors.
This music thing. Go explain, Matthew.
Yeah, it uses wireless transmission from the 2 Little Bits pieces, and it goes through a bunch of different systems that change up the noise, and eventually leads to the speakers.
And this is your band?
Yes.
What's it called?
Oh, we don't have a name yet. The Peduncles, yes.
Yay!
Yay!
So there's that. And then in terms of kids using it, we have this here. This is a kid, he created the ability to DJ with his hands.
That's really cool.
So it's amazing to imagine the possibilities that might be available to kids learning to make these projects within a span of minutes or hours. And what if they're able to create them and then, after they've prototyped it, actually solder it up, make the project, and then start selling it, potentially in mass production. We're actually doing a Kickstarter class at the moment where kids are able to make projects using Internet of Things technologies and then later sell them on Kickstarter. So it's amazing that there's so many adults involved in the maker movement, but imagine the potential that can be unlocked through having more kids involved. I like to say that while adults are kind of blocked up in certain areas, such as needing to make money and things like that, kids don't have those pressures, and as a result, they come up with some super amazing inventions, like I've already talked about. And another thing that'll allow them to make more creations, and us as well, is the new Cloud Bit, which Little Bits just released. It basically enables you to add the internet to any of your creations. So in the example of the fish feeder that I was talking about, you could set it up using If This Then That, a popular website, so that you could tweet at your Little Bits creation and then it would feed your fish. So in the future, we wish to see MakerKids chapters all around the world. As I mentioned, we have a location in Toronto. Our next area of focus is in the Bay Area, so I'm going to be spending more time there. And we want to have them everywhere. So if this is a future that you're interested in helping to create, I'd love to chat with you. And in summary, I want to say that if you want to make a change in yourself and others in the world, I really implore you to make it so. And I also want to invite you to our Little Bits workshop tomorrow, and we're also going to have it available during lunch upstairs to play around. So thank you very much.